Hello, English learners, and welcome back to the Let's Talk English Podcast. I'm Emily, and my today's guest is Mike.
We're really happy you're here with us today. Today, we're diving into something super practical, something that really opens up a world of adventure. English for travel. You've shared some great materials with us, sort of notes, bits of dialogue, advice on handling travel situations.
That's right. It's a really interesting collection. Covers everything from, the casual language you might use planning a trip, right through to navigating potentially trickier spots like checking into a hotel or, say, dealing with unexpected problems.
Okay.
So our goal here, our mission in this deep dive, is really to pull out the most important language nuggets and communication strategies from all this.
Right.
We want to give you a solid base so you feel more confident, more comfortable when you're traveling and using English to kind of smooth things over.
Exactly. Think of it like your essential language packing list. We'll take these source notes and pull out phrases, insights, things that can genuinely make a difference.
We'll kick off looking at the language for, getting ready, hitting the road.
Yeah.
Then we'll move into some really practical stuff like hotels, and then maybe touch on the bigger picture, the mindset, key phrases for anywhere.
Yeah, we'll navigate through common scenarios, break down the specific words and phrases the sources highlight, and importantly, talk about why they work, not just what they mean. It's about understanding the tools and, how to use them effectively.
Okay, great. Let's get going then. So the sources paint a pretty vivid picture right away, focusing on something lots of us enjoy. The road trip.
The road trip.
It's shown as a really popular way to travel, especially, it seems, in places like North America. Big deal there.
And it's defined simply enough, right? Getting in a car, family or friends, driving off on vacation. But what's interesting is how the material immediately goes a bit deeper into the whole experience of it.
Yeah, the shared experience. And I liked how the sources mention how different it can feel depending on who you're actually with in the car.
Yeah.
It made me think of those really long family drives when I was a kid, hours and hours, maybe 8 hours straight sometimes.
Oh, wow. 8 hours.
Yeah, heading up north, camping, sleeping outside, cooking on a campfire. Good memories, but man, those 8 hours stuck in the car could feel long, even with people you love.
I bet. And the sources kind of contrast that with, say, a trip with friends, maybe more spontaneous, more dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
They give that example of friends driving to Las Vegas. It's less about the destination itself, perhaps, and more about the journey, the fun of it, just talking, sharing the experience.
That's so true.
It really highlights that a road trip isn't just, getting from A to B. It's a whole social thing, a personal experience, and it changes based on who's riding along.
Totally. The journey is kind of the destination sometimes. And speaking of starting that journey, the sources bring up a really practical phrase right at the beginning. The car is packed.
Right. The car is packed. Very practical. The source defines it really clearly. Basically, everything you need for the trip is inside the car.
Bags, food,
all the essentials. Loaded up and ready to go.
It's that moment, isn't it? That transition. When you can finally say the car is packed, it feels like, okay, the physical prep is done.
Exactly.
You're just about to turn the key. It signals, completion, readiness. It's a feeling of, okay, we did it. We squeezed everything in. Let's go.
Precisely. It's simple, but it marks a big step. You're moving from planning and gathering into actually leaving.
Okay, so the car's packed, ready to roll. Let's dive into some of that specific vocabulary the sources highlight from that early conversation. These are words, expressions, really central to the road trip feel, but often useful beyond that too.
Okay, the first one they pull out is munchies.
Munchies, yes. A classic. The sources just define it as snacks and give those examples. Chips, cookies, chocolate bars.
It's great travel vocabulary, isn't it? Especially for road trips, because like the sources say, munchies are really good when you're taking a road trip.
Long hours.
Right. Long hours in the car. You need something. Keep you going, fight off the boredom, or just, because snacks are nice.
Definitely.
But the word munchies itself is interesting. It's quite informal, often used for those maybe slightly less healthy packaged snacks.
Right. You probably wouldn't call a fancy picnic munchies.
Exactly. It has that feel of ease, maybe a bit of indulgence, perfect for that casual road trip vibe.
Right.
Asking, did you pack the munchies? Or, hey, we need to stop for munchies feels very natural.
Yeah, it nails that specific kind of snack you want on a long drive. Okay, next up, something totally essential for a car trip. Fill up the tank.
Fill up the tank. The sources define this just as you'd expect. To put gas in your car, specifically in the gas tank.
Can't go anywhere without it.
Yeah.
The dialogue shows it. Did you fill up the tank? Yep, it's all set. Basic stuff, but critical.
Absolutely. It's that conscious check, making sure you've got enough fuel for the road ahead. And often on a long drive, you'll need another kind of stop.
Right.
Which brings us nicely to pit stop.
Pit stop, like in racing.
Exactly like racing. Borrowing that idea of a quick, necessary stop. The sources define a travel pit stop as a quick stop for you to get some gas, food, or go to the bathroom.
And the dialogue has that funny, relatable bit. Someone needing a pit stop after just 10 minutes because they forgot the bathroom break before leaving.
Yeah, that really grounds the term, doesn't it? Shows it's often for a very practical, sometimes urgent need.
Totally.
It's a brief pause in the journey, but essential, whether it's for the car gas or the people restroom. Quick bite, super common in road travel.
So munchies for people, fuel. Fill up the tank for car fuel, pit stops for brakes.
Got it. Now, the sources shift to some phrases about preparation, but maybe a bit broader.
Yes, they highlight, we've got all our bases covered. The sources call this a really great phrase, and it's really useful.
We've got all our bases covered. What does that really mean? What's the feeling it gives?
Well, the sources define it as having everything ready and prepared, leaving nothing forgotten.
Yeah.
But the power of it, I think, is the sense of security it conveys, completeness.
Yeah. It means you've thought ahead, anticipated potential issues or needs, and you've prepared for them. In that road trip dialogue, it's said with confidence they've thought of everything for the trip.
And the sources show its versatility, right? With examples outside travel, like the hurricane one.
Exactly. We've got all our bases covered in case the hurricane hits. That's serious preparation. Or simpler, like checking your pockets. I have my keys, wallet, passport. Looks like I have all my bases covered.
Right. Before leaving the house.
Or the work example. All right, we've got a really good marketing plan. We've got all our bases covered. It shows it's not just about physical things. It's strategic planning, anticipating challenges. It communicates a high level of preparedness, confidence that you're ready for whatever might happen. Hurricane, business meeting, road trip. It implies thoroughness, foresight.
That's really useful. It sounds much more complete than just saying we're ready.
It absolutely does. Adds that layer of confidence.
Okay, another common one for starting things. Let's get going.
Pretty direct, this one. Means let's start or let's go, just like the sources say. Simple way to kick things off.
But this is where the sources get into that interesting bit about the structure, get plus verbing. How changing the second verb changes everything, but it's still about starting something.
Yeah, this is a great point about how flexible English verbs can be. That get plus verbing structure, it's often about beginning an action or process, but the kind of action depends entirely on that second verb.
So let's get going is about starting to move, starting the journey.
Right. Physical movement, departure. But then look at the variations they give. I have the chicken, so let's get cooking.
Starting to cook.
Exactly. Or this house is really scary, let's get out of here.
Starting to leave, probably quickly.
With urgency, yeah. And the meeting one. I have another meeting in 20 minutes, so let's get down to business.
Starting to focus, get serious.
Spot on. These examples show just how versatile get plus verbing is. Starting movement, cooking, leaving, focusing on work. It's a really common dynamic structure in spoken English. Getting the hang of it gives you a lot of flexibility.
That explanation makes it much clearer. It's a pattern, not just random phrases.
Yeah.
Okay, the sources also had a section called Fluency Builders. Tips for sounding more natural, less like reading a script.
Precisely. Fluency builders are about those little tweaks, alternative phrases that native speakers use more often. They make your English sound smoother, more, well, natural.
First one compares "Are we ready to go?" with "Are we all ready to go?"
Yeah, the source notes that adding all makes it sound a lot more fluent. It's tiny, but when asking a group, "Are we all ready?" or "Are you all set?" is incredibly common.
Why do you think?
It just adds a subtle emphasis, making sure everyone's included. Feels more complete, more natural in a group setting. Flows better in conversation.
Okay, that makes sense. Just a little word. And the other phrase was, "It's all set."
Another great one. You can say, "It is ready," or "It is prepared," perfectly correct. But the sources say, "It's all set," is another way to say this. And it sounds a lot more fluent.
And the example was confirming the gas tank. Yep, it's all set.
Yes. And like all our bases covered, this one's really versatile too. Means something is completely ready, prepared, dinner is all set, the presentation is all set, even a person. I'm all set, meaning I'm ready to go.
Oh, okay.
It's very common, very idiomatic for expressing readiness or completed prep. much more frequent in everyday chat than it is ready in lots of situations. Using phrases like this is key to sounding less formal, more natural.
So these fluency builders are about adopting those common, slightly idiomatic phrases.
Yeah.
Makes your English sound more effortless. Really valuable.
They're vital, yeah, for moving towards more authentic conversational English.
Okay, so we spent some good time unpacking the language of getting ready for that road trip. But travel happens everywhere, obviously, and needs broader skills. The sources make a key shift here, discussing general communication strategies for travel.
This is crucial, right? Because the road trip words are specific, but the communication principles, they apply everywhere. The sources really hammer home this idea. Good communication is key to a smooth travel experience.
And they say why it's so key. Travel can also be stressful, especially if you are unfamiliar with the language or customs. Good communication is positioned as the antidote to that stress.
Exactly. It's about feeling empowered, feeling you can handle interactions, whether you're, at the airport, in a hotel, or at a restaurant. Knowing how to say things politely, clearly it can massively impact your experience, reduces frustration for everyone involved.
I definitely feel that. That little knot of anxiety in a new place, maybe a different language, just hoping you can make yourself understood. Good communication is the bridge.
And the sources lay out simple but powerful tips for building that bridge. Things like always use simple and clear language, speak slowly and politely, definitely, smile and maintain a friendly attitude. And this is critical, be patient and understanding, especially if there is a language barrier.
Seems like basic courtesy, but it's true. When you're stressed or rushing while traveling, those things can easily slip.
They can. And the sources stress these aren't just nice things to do. They can go a long way in making your travel experience enjoyable. A polite request just gets a better response, usually. Patience helps sort out misunderstandings. A smile connects you. These simple actions actively shape a better outcome.
Yeah.
Just think about the difference. Rushing up to a counter, looking stressed, barking a question versus approaching with a smile, speaking clearly, slowly, starting politely. The second way just smooths everything out.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Setting a positive tone. Okay, let's take these general ideas and apply them to a specific scenario the sources detail. Hotels. This is where communication skills get tested a lot.
Right. The sources give a detailed walkthrough, starting with check-in. They acknowledge it can feel daunting, but it doesn't have to be.
So you arrive, you're at the desk. How do you start?
Start polite. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hello. Simple. Then clear and simple information. Let them know you have a reservation by saying, I have a reservation under the name, your name. Clear name is step one.
Okay, name first. What other key details could you give?
The sources suggest essentials like, I booked a single double room for number of nights and the start date, usually starting from today. Giving these upfront helps them find your booking fast, avoids mix-ups.
Right.
Then it's good to confirm your reservation details, maybe show your confirmation email, or just wait for them to confirm the dates and room type back to you.
So give the key info clearly, calmly. After that initial check-in, what are some important questions the sources suggest asking?
Essential info for your stay. The sources highlight what time is checkout. Definitely need to know that for planning your last day.
And the breakfast question.
Do you provide breakfast? If yes, what time does it start? Vital for planning mornings. Knowing if it's available included, the hours helps you use the hotel facilities, manage your time. Like the sources say, understanding what the hotel offers can enhance your experience.
Absolutely. Missing breakfast because you didn't know the time is always disappointing.
Yeah.
Okay, what about asking for something extra, like an upgrade? The sources guide this too.
Yes, they give specific phrases for asking politely. Frame it as a question, keep it light. Is it possible to get an upgrade today?
Not demanding it.
Exactly. And adding politeness is key. I would really appreciate it. Shows you're making a polite request, not an expectation.
And there's that great tip about special occasions.
Oh, yeah, this is gold from the sources. They note, if you are celebrating a special occasion like a birthday or anniversary, mention it as many hotels offer complimentary upgrades for such events.
Really?
Well, it's not guaranteed, obviously, but hotels often want to make special stays memorable. A polite mention might just open that door. It leverages that positive interaction we talked about.
Definitely worth remembering. What if a free one isn't possible, but you still want a better room?
The sources cover that too. Ask about the cost. If complimentary upgrades are unavailable, you can ask, what is the cost to upgrade to a better room? This gets you the info to decide based on your budget.
Makes sense.
And again, the sources reinforce. Being polite and courteous increases the chances of receiving assistance. True for freebies, true for paid services. Your whole approach matters.
Politeness and clarity, your best friends at the front desk. What else should you ask about to, make the most of your stay?
The sources list asking about services, like does the hotel have a gym or swimming pool? And crucially, what are the hours? Knowing the times is key if you actually want to use them.
Or practical things, transport.
Absolutely. Do you provide airport shuttle services? That can be essential for arrival or departure planning. Knowing about these helps you factor them in, use what the hotel offers. It's about being informed to make the most of your stay, as they put it.
And what about exploring the area? Staff are usually good for tips.
Definitely. The sources suggest asking for local tips. Can you recommend nearby restaurants or attractions? They often have the inside scoop. And crucially, how to get around. What is the best way to travel around this area?
Asking about options like bus, taxi, or walking. That helps you figure out local transport.
Yes. And if you have a map, asking for directions is great. Can you show me on the map how to get to place? Much clearer than just verbal directions sometimes. These questions tap into the staff's local knowledge, save you time, maybe lead you somewhere cool.
This is all brilliant for the smooth parts of travel, but, things go wrong sometimes. The sources also tackle handling problems.
And this is where those core principles, calm, clear, polite, patient, become really vital. The sources stress addressing issues calmly and clearly. When something's wrong, it's easy to get upset, but that's when you need that clear, respectful communication most.
They give specific examples, common hotel room problems, like noise.
For noise, the sources give you the script. State the problem and its effect. I'm having trouble sleeping because of the noise. That explains why it's a problem for you. Then, ask for a solution. Is it possible to move to a quieter room? Polite request, specific outcome.
Much better than just, it's noisy or I can't sleep. You explain the impact, suggest a fix.
Exactly. Context and a clear request. Another example. The room isn't clean.
For that, they suggest, I noticed that my room has not been cleaned properly. Phrasing it as an observation, I noticed, can feel less accusatory than, you didn't clean my room.
Good point.
Then ask for action. Can you send housekeeping to take care of it?
Direct, polite states the need. Or if something's broken, AC, shower, TV, common issues.
Straightforward phrasing. The thing in my room is not working.
And immediately follow up asking for a fix or alternative. Can you help me fix it or move me to another room? Problem stated, practical solutions suggested.
The absolute key takeaway from the sources on problems seems to be, always remain polite and avoid sounding angry.
This is so important, and they explain why. Hotel staff are usually willing to help if you communicate respectfully. Put yourself in their shoes. Someone yelling. The instinct is defensiveness. Someone calm and polite, even with a real problem, they're more likely to see you as someone needing help, easier to assist.
Yeah.
Your calmness actually helps them solve your problem, fosters collaboration, not conflict.
That's incredibly practical advice. Applies way beyond hotels, but definitely crucial when you're relying on staff somewhere unfamiliar.
Universal principle for effective problem solving, really.
Okay, so we've hit road trip prep, general communication strategies, deep dived into hotels, including problems. The sources also had some general tips for just being prepared, travel mindset stuff.
Yeah, a kind of summary of broader strategies for smoother trips, no matter where or how you're going. One key point, learning a few basic local phrases, especially if English is not widely spoken where you're going.
Simple things. Hello, thank you. Where's the restroom? How much does this cost?
Those basics go such a long way. Even just trying thank you in the local language shows respect. It can genuinely improve interactions, shows you're making an effort, connecting on their terms, even a little. Often met with warmth, more willingness to help, breaks down barriers.
And practical prep documents.
The sources remind you, always carry your reservation details, passport, and ID. Obvious, maybe, but easy to forget to have them handy. And the smart tip, consider printing copies of important documents.
Why print?
Because tech fails. Phone batteries die. Having a paper backup of your passport, flight details, hotel booking, absolute lifesaver sometime.
Good point. Very concrete tip. Beyond practicalities, mindset, flexibility.
Crucial psychological part of travel. The sources say travel plans can change unexpectedly. You need to cultivate that ability to stay calm and adaptable when things don't go as planned.
And things do go off plan sometimes, right? Flights delayed, trains missed, bookings messed up, wrong turns.
Exactly. The sources frame adaptability as stress reduction. Instead of letting changes ruin the trip, see them as things to navigate. And this loops back to all the communication skills. Flight delayed. Calmly talk to airline staff. Hotel booking issue. Use that polite problem-solving language. Flexibility plus communication skills, that's powerful.
It's about accepting travel isn't perfect and being ready to calmly deal with it. And speaking of positive interactions, gratitude comes up again.
Yes, showing appreciation. Show appreciation to hotel staff and others who assist you. A simple thank you can leave a positive impression and encourage better service. It reinforces that politeness isn't just transactional. It's about positive human connection, someone who feels appreciated. More likely to help you again, maybe go the extra mile. It's a virtuous cycle.
It really is. The sources also throw in a couple more simple, broadly useful phrases.
Like the fundamental, "Can you help me, please?" Incredibly versatile. States the need, politely. And a repeat of, "What time is breakfast?" Just reinforcing how key that question often is.
Okay, covered a huge amount. Packing the car, road trip words, general communication, hotel deep dive, problems, mindset. The sources also had a final list of related vocabulary, maybe from an audio review bit. Terms not to find elsewhere.
Right. Practical words often related to car travel or getting around. Knowing them adds another layer.
Like trunk?
The trunk. That's the luggage compartment, usually at the back of a car. Essential for the car is packed stage.
Passenger.
Simple one. Anyone in a vehicle who isn't driving. Necessary for talking about who's in the car or on the bus, etc.
Highway or freeway.
Major public roads, high speed, longer distances, often connecting cities, helps understand routes, directions, especially common terms in places like North America.
Rental car.
Car you hire, pay to use for a limited time, very common for travelers who fly somewhere then need transport.
And lastly, highway toll.
A highway toll. That's the fee you pay to use certain roads or highways. Important for route planning, need to factor in potential costs.
Those terms definitely round out the practical car travel vocabulary.
Yeah, they're all pieces of the puzzle. Help you understand conversations, signs, planning details when driving.
Wow. We really went deep into the source material on Travel English today. Started right at the beginning, the road trip buzz, pulling out words like munchies, fill up the tank, pit stop, and those readiness phrases like the cart is packed and all our bases covered.
And we explored that get plus verbing structure, how let's get going fits that pattern for starting things. Plus those fluency builders using all-in questions, saying, "It's all set." Subtle but useful.
Then we broadened out the core ideas of good travel communication. Simplicity, politeness, patience, smiling. The foundation for smoother interactions anywhere.
Using the hotel as a detailed example, we walk through checking in, asking about services, upgrades, and really importantly, handling problems calmly, effectively, using that specific polite phrasing the sources recommended.
And wrapped up with the broader reminders, value of basic local phrases, keeping documents handy, and those key mindset points, flexibility and gratitude.
The amount of practical language and strategy here is really impressive. Specific words, overarching principles, it really provides a solid toolkit. Just thinking about using these phrases, these approaches, can make traveling with English feel, well, less daunting.
Absolutely. Being prepared with the language, understanding why politeness works, having that adaptable mindset, it really can shift a trip from stressful to enjoyable. It's not just about being understood, it's navigating the human side of travel.
It truly is, equipping yourself to interact with the world more confidently, more easily.
So, as you think about your next trip, whether it's big or small, maybe consider this. How might consciously focusing on just one or two of these strategies, maybe deciding to be extra patient, asking for directions, or practicing how to politely ask about checkout time at the hotel, how might that not only smooth out that one interaction, but maybe fundamentally shift your overall feeling of confidence and connection during your whole journey?